Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome to the new channel. It's going to be some car stuff on here. This is my R35 GTR. You'll be seeing a lot of this, hopefully, over the coming weeks. But I'd also like to get some other cars on the channel, modified if possible, like this is. Because I'd like to, review some of your guys' cars in person, see what it's like. I guess I just want to branch out and experience a whole bunch of cars, and I feel like a sort of YouTube channel is the best way to do that because I can't buy every car in the world. I can barely afford this one. So this is my 2009, I believe, GTR. It had that plate on from when it was new, so it's either 9 or 59, I'm not quite sure. Currently it's running Litchfield stage 4.25, which is a load of bollocks, I know, but that's what they call it, so let's go with it. Which means it's running around 650 brake. I had it on the dyno at 656. And this might sound like a lot, but when you're in GTR land, it's actually not that much. So let's do what everyone wants me to do normally, is just open the bonnet up. You can have a look at the V6. There she is in all her glory. So for those of you that live under a rock and you don't know what a GTR is, it's a V6 3.8 litre with 2 turbos, hence the 2 intakes. Standard power is about 480 horsepower, I think, but these are so easily tunable and so strong. You can usually take these to about 800 on stock internals, I believe, which is fucking crazy. But you will have to change the turbos to get to that sort of power, and that'll cost you about 10 grand. So mine at the minute has got standard turbos on because I can't afford the bigger ones. So mine is pretty much the limit of the stock turbos at the moment, and I'm not really planning to go much faster in because you can't use the current power it has anyway on the road. It's ridiculous. I can't imagine what it's like having a 1200, 1400 power one of these because it's just crazy as it is. And once you want to start pushing north of 800 horsepower, it is getting really expensive because you're paying to have built gearbox, built engine, built everything. So we'll have a quick look at my very unkempt interior. The interior is not the strong point on any Japanese car, as most of you will know. That's more of a German thing. But let's get in anyway. Yeah, not too fancy inside. You've got your steering wheel. Like I said, this car is 2009, so it's to be expected that it won't have much fancy stuff on it. Speedo goes all the way to 220, but that is a bit optimistic. I'd say you're more reaching about 200 at most. That is if you're standard, obviously. Now, one of the things the GTR is most famous for is all its fancy graphs and stuff that you honestly don't look at while you're driving, obviously, because there's crazy amount of stuff on here. Fuel economy, that one's just pointless. Gear position, I mean, who even needs to know that? Here you can see your steering G, which is just about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Braking G, when you panic on the brakes, you don't want to really look over here and see how much G-force you're pulling. Acceleration, when you've got your pedal to the floor, you should be looking at the windscreen, not at this thing. All in all, this is the one I leave it on the most, just because this is the most handy to have, just to keep an eye on top of your temperatures. Mostly, let's see if I can get a better angle here. There's your coolant temp, transmission oil temp, engine oil, your fuel range, which does matter, and your speed and your current economy. So this is all the stuff that you only really need. People say they like having their boost gauges on there, but like I said, if you're on boost, you're not really looking at this screen. You don't have time because you're flying up there at 120 mile an hour or whatever. Miles to the gallon I don't think is that great. I can have a look and see what I'd be getting. My MPG on average is 19.2. As you can see, I've got a full tank here, but about 265 miles of range. That's usually about standard. If it just lives on the motorway, you can get it to 300, but I wouldn't risk it. Obviously, the car isn't automatic. It's my first automatic car, so I wasn't really sure how I deal with it, but it's actually all right. You have got the flappy paddles behind the steering wheel here. You push them up to go into plus a gear or minus a gear, obviously. Now, because this car is Litchfield tuned, you can adjust what map you want using the cruise control. So if you just hold cancel on the steering wheel, the needle goes up, the engine's not even on, but the needle goes up and you can move it up and down with the cruise control buttons. So you've got map 1, map 2, map 3, and also your coolant temperature will go up and down depending on which map you're choosing as well. So map 1 is obviously for 95 rated fuel, map 2 is for 97, and map 3 is for 99. And if you go to map 4, it says 199 because that is your traction control off. Now, just to be clear, you can normally turn traction control off like this, but Litchfield also add on their own traction control. So if you really want to skid, you need to turn that off and you need to put it in map 4. You can also adjust your maps on the Ecutech app that they give you. You can adjust your boost in terms of which map you want to be boosting at. So for me, map 1 is a low boost, which is 0.9 bar, but it's also the pop and bangs map. So if you want to make the flames, that is the map you want. Map 2, I believe, is 1.1 bar, and map 3 is 1.3 bar, and that's full boost. That's the most they'll let you have. So as you can probably tell, I've done a fair amount to the inside of this car in terms of modifications, exhaust, induction, new injectors, blow-off valves, all this stuff, but on the outside, the car is pretty much standard. So it's been lowered, it's on Tyne springs. The standard suspension is Bilstein shocks, so I've decided to leave them on, just put Tyne springs on. So it drops it a decent amount, and I've also put spacers on the wheels. I believe there were 15 on the back and 10 on the front. So the wheels sort of fill the arches nicely. I'm quite happy with that. Me personally, I'm not really into my splitters and side skirts and diffusers and all this. It just feels like a bunch of extra plastic you add on for no reason. It just increases your drag. It's just no good for anybody. I'd rather just lower a car and just leave it like it is. The same goes for wheels. These are the standard wheels that came on the car, and I'm not really a fan of changing up wheels on cars unless I can find some really nice ones. But the really nice ones are like $3 and I'm not willing to pay that just much for wheels, so the tyres are expensive enough, to be honest. So I've got Pilot Sport 4s all round. On the back they are 305, 30, 20, and on the front they are 265, 35, 20. 400mm brake discs on the front, that's 16 inches in American, and 380mm discs on the back, or 15 inches if you're American. So the main point of this channel is just sort of create car content, go into car meets and stuff with the GTR. I've got track time booked for Spring Action Day, 2 sessions, so if you want to see me crash there, either come to Castle Combe or subscribe to this YouTube channel and I'll be posting my crash, I expect. As you've probably seen, this car is not in exactly perfect condition. It's had a few bumps and scrapes, but it's all getting repaired next week. Oh no, it's April, late April it's getting repaired, so it'll all be fresh. It's all getting resprayed, so it'll be nice. So what I really appreciate is basically just giving the video a like, thumbs up, that would help a lot. And hopefully maybe if some of you guys are local, we can get your car on the channel and we can see what it's like. All cars are welcome. It doesn't have to be a GTR or a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. It can be a Ford Fiesta. Just make sure it's hybrid turbo. I'm not opposed to a hatchback. I used to have a Focus RS and I would happily have one again. So yeah, maybe drop a comment with what car you have and what you'd like to see from this channel, and hopefully maybe we can get you on. So thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your time. Feel free to subscribe, like and comment. Also follow my Instagram where you'll be kept up to date with where I'm going, what I'm doing, who I'm filming with. I'll be posting that on the screen right now.